Hey folks, this video is a little bit late. We're here in nearly the middle of December, and this is the November 2016 computer update. So there's going to be some big stuff that happens towards Christmas, so it's still worth making this the November one. I'm going to count it as a November one because nothing's really changed that much since the end of November, other than the way I've set up my apartment, as you can see. So you guys may remember this part of my apartment to the right side of my bed used to be a table with like a bunch of old computers stacked on top of each other, and that's where my Linux machine and my old machines that were in use at the moment were. I decided to change that setup entirely for this room. Instead, I moved my nightstand back from over there back to over here, and it's just my bedside computer. So this place looks much more like a bedroom now on both sides. I think that's better. It's less claustrophobic. I mean, obviously this computer chair isn't the best choice of furniture, but it fills the space. And if I had someone move in with me, I could just barely sneak a chest of drawers there if I could get one that was thin enough. And I can put my humidifier down there and actually have room for it to be there too, which is nice. So you may ask, what happened to all the computers? Did you get rid of them? Oh, hell no. I'll show you. Here we have my closet. I've managed to fit all these computers in this closet somehow. There's a couple of the ones you might find familiar. There's the 822. There's a gateway down there we still need to make a video of. There's a Mac up here we still need to make a video of. There's the Desk Pro EN sitting there. Packard Bell. A couple more machines, the 98 build, a gateway we need to make a video of still, my Leo, and the power computing. So I managed to fit all this crap in this closet here. I'm amazed that it all fits in here. So yeah, plus I have an additional case that I need to somehow sneak in here. So that's going to be a bit interesting. I'll figure that one out too. I always do. So just so you know, I didn't get rid of any of this stuff. It's just going to be the type of thing where if I want to mess around with a machine, I'll just pull it out and use it, instead of having them all set up and pretty much never using them when I'm busy. So it's much easier to manage that way. It gives this room a lot more space. I just think it's way better. That this setup is way better. Now you might be asking, where's the Linux machine? Because you didn't see it there in the closet, did you? Well, here's the new setup that's out in my office. Let's take a look. There you go. Both machines are next to each other now. Get some light on the situation here. There we go. I just stuck both machines next to each other. Linux machines on the left, Windows machines on the right. So, and they're both Ryzen, which is pretty cool. Now, the machines themselves have had a bit of a story since, I guess, the end of October, whenever I last made a computer update video. I think it was the end of October, beginning of November. The CPUs have had an upgrade, and the board has been changed out in the Linux machine. Now here's something interesting that was going on. The Linux machine I was experiencing random freezes on. It started after a while, and then it got progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. And I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out what was doing it. At first, I thought it was RAM or something, because, you know, when computers start freezing, the RAM is the first thing you should look at. The RAM is completely fine. Nothing wrong with it. It took me weeks of diagnosis, and I came to the conclusion that it was at the board/CPU level. And I'm still really not sure which, but my gut feeling says it was probably the CPU that was at fault there. That was the Ryzen 3 1200 I used to have in this machine. So I didn't take any chances. I RMA'd both the board and the CPU and got new ones back for both. The board works fine, no issues with the new board. The CPU I ended up selling because Black Friday saw an amazing price war. AMD brought their prices down so much that I thought it was worth upgrading both of these chips and selling off my old ones to make up really most of the cost. Because I sent both chips in for RMA due to that compiling bug where you'd get seg faults in Linux. I didn't want faulty chips in either of my machines, so what AMD did is they sent me back just the whole new package of a CPU. So I decided, so I was originally just going to, just RMA them and that be that. But it turns out that that price war allowed me to upgrade and sell those off as new CPUs. So it was a really good deal. So we'll go over these one by one. I have the Linux machine on right now, so I'll show you what I upgraded on this one here. It's still running fine, as you can see. Look at all the CPUs there, huh? I ended up with a Ryzen 5 1400 in this machine. Cost me $145, I believe. It was really cheap. They're normally like $170, so that was a really good deal to get quad-core multi-threading into the CPU. So that to me is excellent. So now this Linux machine will last me quite a while. I truly won't have to upgrade this thing for a long time with that hyper-threading or multi-threading CPU in there. So that'll be fine for years. So managed to get that upgrade. I also upgraded the processor in this machine, and when I upgraded both of these, I should mention that I looked at the dates pretty carefully to make sure I was getting a production date that was after week 25, which is when the AMD CPUs had this issue, at least by a pretty big margin anyway. So let me shut the Linux machine down, and I will show you what ended up in the Windows machine. Alright, here we are in Windows. So let's show you what I put in here. Yeah, a Ryzen 7 1700 8-core processor. So now the system is a little bit more balanced. The 64 gigs of RAM didn't make a whole lot of sense with the Ryzen 5 1600. The 1700 I think fits that amount of RAM better, and it'll increase the longevity of this system as well, which really was the goal of these. I wanted to build these and not have to touch them for at least until maybe next decade sometime. Because, now that I'm on my own and I don't have as much free cash flow as I used to, I just kind of wanted to build these things up and leave them alone for a while. I figured mostly what I'll be doing over the next couple of years is upgrading the graphics cards every now and then. And that's about it. So, and you know me with graphics cards, I don't spend a whole lot of money on them, so, assuming that NVIDIA keeps their numbering scheme at 1250 Ti eventually, with 6 gigs of RAM, if that's a thing. And an AMD RX, I don't know, 760 or something. I have no idea. But down the road, that's basically how these systems are going to shake out. So there you go. Nice upgrades, working CPUs, a really cool update. Despite that 486 board I had going poop, I did manage to get an AT case off of a viewer of mine. He contacted me, and we worked out a deal, and I managed to get this AT case. I haven't cleaned it up yet. It's still pretty disgusting, but I'll get around to that eventually when I have some free time to do some cleaning. But as you can see, it's pretty nice. It's got some drives in it. I don't know if they work. It's got a turbo button. Nice big switch. This is going to be perfect to build a 486 in. It's not going to be anything special or fancy, but, it'll get the job done. So, yeah, got myself an AT case, so that's good. Even if I don't put anything in it right away, that's still going to come in handy, and I'm going to have to figure out how to fit that in the closet. That's going to be interesting. So that's about all that's going on past month and a half, I guess. Not a whole lot. I've just been really busy lately, so my video output's been lower. Plus, I also needed a bit of a sanity break just because I didn't have the motivation for a while to just make videos. So I figured that when you're a YouTuber and you do that, that usually means you need a sanity break for a while so that you can keep the passion going, so to speak. So there'll be more computing updates probably at the beginning of January or towards Christmas. So I might do one for December pretty soon, like in a couple weeks. So you'll be seeing some stuff. There's one major upgrade for this setup to go, and that's the monitor. So you'll be seeing that probably towards Christmas, I would imagine, or like a little bit after, something like that. I also have some videos of some vintage computers on the way. I need to drag those out of the closet and make videos of those, so we shall continue on with that at some point. So hopefully that's what happens in the near future, and hope you enjoyed this video. So have a good one, everybody. Ciao.